Yesterday we saw another very bullish day for Bitcoin, and we even created a new all-time high around the $94,000, which was very bullish of course. We are seeing a little bit of a decline now, but of course we are going back to the $93,000, which is very bullish. In today's video I'm going to tell you exactly what we can expect for Bitcoin in the coming days. We can see a huge consolidation formation unfolding after a huge run up. We break the resistance and we're now retesting it, so we could see a huge break to the top side. But keep in mind that after such a bullish run up, we could also potentially see a little bit of a correction to test lower levels. So you want to be watching this video all the way to the end, because there is a lot of interesting information coming into the market. There is a lot of data to discuss with you, so I will tell you everything you need to know for Bitcoin and in the crypto markets in general. I'm also going to have a look at the two altcoins, Ethereum and Cardano, but about that later in the video. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to slap up that like button, because it will help my channel a lot. And let's dive right into the charts. On the 4-hour time frame, I've been discussing this huge consolidation formation after this big run up for Bitcoin. And if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that yesterday we broke out bullish of this huge consolidation formation. We broke the resistance area, and now we're coming back to retest it as support. And we're already seeing a little bit of a bounce from this level, so this could be the bullish continuation for Bitcoin, and we're going to see a bullish break after all. So this huge resistance area on the top side is now being turned into support, so we can paint it green. And now we can potentially see a huge separation of this level to create more bullish momentum today. And if we zoom in a little bit on the 1-hour time frame, we can see that Bitcoin separated itself from this huge support area after it was being gained and retested as support. So now we are seeing a bullish continuation of the price. This is looking very beautiful, of course. So we also broke this huge resistance area on the top side, as I was showing you on the 4-hour time frame. And that was around here. So we are now seeing a bullish continuation of the price, and this is looking very bullish because we're still in this huge uptrend. And let's see if Bitcoin can create more bullish momentum to the top side today. But if we have another look on the 4-hour time frame, we can also potentially see that we're creating this huge rising wedge formation with two touch points on the top side as resistance, and also on the lower side we can see this uptrend unfolding. So this rising wedge formation is actually a bearish bias pattern. So after this rising wedge is now unfolding after this huge run up, we can potentially also see a little bit of a retracement back to lower levels, and that means that we're going to see a breakdown of this pattern, a retest of the support to turn it into resistance, and then we have to aim for lower levels. And the breakdown target will be confluent with measuring it from the top side of the formation to the downside. And if we're going to see a breakdown, then we will need to aim for lower levels, and that will be around the downside of this formation. That will be around the $85,000. So for instance, if Bitcoin breaks down of this huge pattern and we're going to see a correction towards the $85,000, I'm going to be more interested in buying Bitcoin. From here you can enter the markets again and aim for this next leg up for Bitcoin, because this could be the last correction for Bitcoin before we go exponentials and pump above the $100,000. And yesterday the Bitcoin ETFs had another very bullish day again. We saw a total inflow of $860.4 million in total. So this is insane, of course, and we can see that BlackRock, Fidelity, the Bitwise and the ARK Invest Bitcoin ETFs are buying like crazy, and this is exactly what we want to see. So we had almost $1 billion of inflow, and we now can see that the Bitcoin total cumulative inflow is coming closer to this all-time high, and we're also coming closer to this $30 billion of total inflow. So this is insane, of course, and these are the numbers we exactly want to see, because it will pump up the price of Bitcoin even more. So for instance, if we can see another bullish day of almost 1 billion inflows, I think we will see the new all-time high getting reached, and we could even see levels around the $100,000 very soon. And if we then zoom out to the daily time frame, we can see that Bitcoin is in this huge parabolic uptrend to the top side, and we can see a huge bullish momentum unfolding. And we can also see that if we touch this level on the downside, we saw a bullish continuation and a bullish separation of this level. So as I was saying, we are forming a huge rising wedge formation, and for instance, if Bitcoin breaks down, comes back to this huge support area, I'm interested in buying more Bitcoin. So of course we don't know where the price of Bitcoin will come, but let's say for instance, if we're coming back to this region, I'm going to buy every time we touch it. And I think this will be the last correction before we see the next exponential leg up. So of course we could also just pump straight away, but the price of Bitcoin never goes up in one direction. So you have to have a little bit of cash ready if we're going to see a correction, and then you can enter the market for Bitcoin in a long or just spot buy order. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So my limit orders are already set, and if we're going for instance to the $85,000, I'm going to buy in heavily for Bitcoin. And if we have another look at the daily time frame, we can also see that Bitcoin is still in this huge higher high, higher low structure. And we're now creating this higher high, but of course we don't know where this high will stop. So for instance, if we're going to create this high and we are seeing a little bit of a correction, then we can enter the market on this higher low play, because Bitcoin will then still be in a huge uptrend. And the trend is your friend until it ends. So we could potentially see a little bit of a healthy correction, and from there we can just aim for higher targets. And that could be your last chance to enter the market for Bitcoin before we can see the $100,000 getting reached. And there's also a lot of interesting news coming into the market yesterday. We heard that Michael Saylor is going to meet with Microsoft, and he also met with Rumble because they want to discuss how to invest as a company in Bitcoin. So this is insane, of course. And as I was saying, he also met with streaming platform Rumble, and they also want to purchase Bitcoin and put it on a balance sheet. So if all the other companies are going to buy Bitcoin, it will be very bullish for Bitcoin, and it will pump up the price even more of Bitcoin, because there is coming a lot of buying pressure into the market. And we also had some other bullish news coming in, and that was that Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF trading options is going to launch tomorrow, and that will be today. So today there could be a lot of more liquidity coming into the market, and this is very bullish for the crypto space overall, because it will pump up the prices of Bitcoin and altcoins even more, because there is coming more liquidity into the Bitcoin market. And in the last few months, I've been discussing this huge parabolic run for Bitcoin with you. In every cycle, we saw the previous all-time high getting tested as resistance, and after that, we broke out bullish. We saw a huge spike to the top side, just like we saw in the last cycles. And in the last months, we also created this huge resistance area around the previous all-time high of last cycle, and now we are seeing the spike to the top side. So let's see if we can see a separation of this level and see a bullish continuation. And of course, we want to see this exponential move to the top side happening. So for instance, if we can see the same move happening for Bitcoin, and the last cycle it was 250% from this breakout. So if we can see a breakout of 250% after this huge resistance was getting broken to the top side, then we will see almost levels around the $250,000. So this is insane, of course, and I think this is a very realistic target. So let's see if Bitcoin can see more bullish continuation in the coming weeks and months, and that we're going to create a new all-time high around the $250,000. But of course, the sky is the limit, because we're now in price discovery, so we could also pump to levels around the $300,000 or $400,000. And let me know in the comments what your price prediction for Bitcoin is in this cycle. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Ethereum. We can see these horizontal lines for Ethereum unfolding, and they act as resistance and support. In the last months, we saw Ethereum was consolidating for quite a while, and after that we saw a bullish break to the top side, and we gained a lot of resistance levels. But however, we also came back to this huge resistance, and it was a little bit too strong, so we're now consolidating around this level. And of course, the next move will be that we're going to see a break to the top side, or either a break to the downside. Personally, I think that Ethereum will see a little bit of lower levels to test previous resistance as support, because this huge resistance was being gained, but I think we will see lower levels and test it as support again. And this is very healthy price action. And if Ethereum is going lower, I will buy every time we touch these previous resistance areas, because they will be turned into support. So I will place my orders at these levels, and then I'm going to wait for this next leg up to the top side, because I think Ethereum will still reach levels around the $10,000 in this cycle. And yesterday the Ethereum ETFs had a little bit of a bearish day. We saw a total outflow of $81.3 million, and this was especially because BlackRock, Fidelity and Grayscale were selling Ethereum. So this was having a very bearish effect on the price of Ethereum as well. So this last week we saw a little bit of bearish outflows after we saw huge bullish inflows 2 weeks ago. So this is looking a little bit more bearish than bullish. So let's see if we can see more bullish inflows for Ethereum ETFs in the coming days. But if we zoom into the 4-hour time frame for Ethereum, we can see this pattern is unfolding, and we can see multiple touch points here on the top side as resistance, and we can also see that Ethereum is in a little bit of an uptrend. So this could be the next big breakout for Ethereum. So we are either going to see more top side coming to this resistance area, maybe force a break to the top side, retest the resistance as support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. But of course, we can also see a bearish scenario play out, and that we're going to have to aim for lower prices, that we're going to break it down, retest the support as resistance, and then we have to aim for lower prices. And if Ethereum is going to see lower prices, then I'm much interested in buying more Ethereum, because we were in this huge uptrend, and I've been also taking profits when we were in this uptrend. So if the price of Ethereum is going back down, don't panic, because you want to buy at these lower levels I've been telling you. And you just place your limit orders around here, and then you can just enter the market for Ethereum and for the long term. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Cardano. We can see Cardano was in this huge consolidation formation in the last months, and we saw a huge breakout to the top side finally. And Cardano is finally waking up, and this is beautiful to see because this sleeping giant has a very big community and a lot of people are holding Cardano. So we also broke a lot of huge resistance areas on the daily time frame, which was very, very bullish. But we're now at this huge resistance area, and this is confluent with the price action of around March 2024, and this is around the 80 cents. And we can see that Cardano is trying to break it to the top side. So if we're going to see a break to the top side, we have to wait for a confirmation. So this daily candle needs to close above this huge resistance area. Then we can wait for a retest of the resistance to turn it into support. And from there you can aim for higher prices. But of course we could also see a huge rejection coming into this level, and that we have to aim for lower levels, and then we can just buy more at this huge previous resistance because it will be turned into support, just like what we saw on the charts of Ethereum. And every time Cardano is coming to these lower levels, I'm going to buy more for the long term. And of course, if we have a look at the weekly time frame, we can also see that we have still a long road to go for Cardano. And there are a lot of interesting levels I'm looking at on the charts. And for instance, this will be the first big level for me to look at, and that will be around the $1.18. Because in the past we can see a lot of interesting resistance and support coming into the market. So this price of $1.18 will be my first big target after we break out of this huge range on the downside. Please give a like if you think this video was useful. Don't forget to follow me on my other socials, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.